Hello, and welcome back to our Elite Escapes. I'm Jim Sadlier. Come join us today as Dan, Melody, and I continue our Luck of Ireland tour through Killarney, Galway, and our exclusive stay at Castle Leslie Estates. Back to Ireland we go. Take it away, Dan.
And welcome back to our Elite Escapes for part 2 of the Luck of Ireland tour. Here we are giving you a friendly hello. We are so happy you're back, and also giving you the view of Ladies View. This is our first stop in the Ring of Kerry on our way to Killarney. And then after this, we headed to dinner before going to J.M. Reedy's, my favorite place for some live music in Killarney.
To the place I belong, West Virginia. Take me home, country road.
The following morning, we went on a jaunting excursion, which is pretty much just a horse and carriage ride, but a great way to see Killarney. And a great way to also start is with an apple for the horse. You know, got to make sure they're happy. Thanks to one of the ladies in our tour for bringing the apples. Thank you, Emily. And it's such a good experience because, you know, you got to make sure those horses are happy. And here's Dad. Hey, Dad, how you doing? As he is boarding the carriage for our jaunting excursion. You know, it is truly a great way of seeing Killarney National Park. It's a beautiful place, but you know what really made it was our jaunting driver. I mean, it's generational, first off. So his dad was one, his grandpa was one, his great-grandpa was one. And really, that's the only way you could get this job, is having it through the generations. It gets passed down to you. But they are so funny. They're full of the crack. And you get these great views, because if you're looking here out into the distance, you will see a castle. So how cool is that with Ireland? They just have all these ruins. And as you can see, there is a nice castle across the lake. And you also got some more deer if you saw those. But this ride was such a great time, full of the crack, full of the laughs, before we arrived at Ross Castle. And Ross Castle is the castle we saw from the distance. So it was cool to get to walk around these premises and see the castle. You don't get to go inside. There was something that maybe you could pay to go and see more inside. They had a little free exhibit, but we were heading out right after this. So we just walked around, took in the views of the castle, took in the lake. We got to see the swans. We got to see the boats that the fishermen go out on. And we truly just got to take in the nature of beautiful Killarney. But as we moved on from Ross Castle, we ended up going to Muckross Farms, as you will see, which was such a great experience after seeing this beautiful lake and getting to be with the horses, because now we got to be with all the other animals. We had the chickens, and you'll see we had these little pigs that were only, I think they said, about 6 weeks old, so they're still youngins. But they were sleeping. Oh, I think we just woke them up. But you had people dressed up in old school Irish outfits, and it was pretty much otherwise you take in all this beauty. I mean, look how gorgeous the views are, and that is really Killarney in a nutshell. It's beautiful views. You got the horses here, the Clydesdales. Again, just beautiful animals. And then they also had an area, other than the goats, you have these goats right here. I was feeding them flowers. They seem to enjoy that, something a little different than just the grass. And then they had these Irish wolfhounds. I mean, really, this picture doesn't do it justice of how big these dogs are, but they were so docile. It seemed so friendly, you know, not that we were petting them, but I know some person was saying they were, but they were just hanging out, and they were just such cute little guys. But then we had to go to the farm where they had all the baby animals. So as you can see, these little piglets, they were like days old. They also had these ducks that you could tell were very hungry. They were just getting fed, so they were going to town, definitely eating. And then even Melody got into the fun, and she got to hold one of the baby lambs. These lambs were like only a few days old as well. All these animals really were in here, but they were all very sweet and just very nice time. We even got to see this beautiful peacock. It didn't open up its feathers for us, but just seeing it like this was beautiful as well. Before we went to one of my favorite places in the Ring of Kerry, Torque Waterfall. I mean, truly just a gorgeous sight to see. And then To top it off, here's a nice sunset on my way to listen to more live music in Killarney. It's truly such a great place to go and experience, especially if you love my live music. The next day, we continued on and we went to Foynes Air Museum, which is actually the place where they created the first Irish coffee. So, of course, we learned how to make Irish coffee. And what a great way to start the day with an Irish coffee. So we learned how to make them, and then we all got to drink them before we did a little tour of the museum. This was actually airplane that was one of the first commercial jets. I mean, look at this. I kind of wish airlines still look like this, or airplanes still look like this, because look at all the leg room. I mean, this looks comfortable. Maybe you can't lean back in those seats, but then they got these beds. All right, Melody, come on, let's see. There you go. See, you can lay down in one of the beds and make it even more comfortable. Or we got her flying too, so good job, Mom. We're proud of you. After Foynes Air Museum, though, we moved on to one of the most iconic spots of Ireland, the Cliffs of Moher. I mean, look how beautiful this is. Pictures never do it justice. Once you're there, you really realize how grand this is. I mean, it's huge. It's amazing. It take you at least an hour, if not longer, to walk all the way down. They do have this little tower that you could go up into, kind of get a little more bird's eye view, but if there's a really long line, I think you could skip it. But here we are one more time, giving you a little friendly hello from the Cliffs of Moher. And we really had a great time. The weather was perfect. There was not a better day that we could have been at the Cliffs, so we were so grateful before heading on to Galway and finding some more live music. The following morning, we headed to the Galway Cathedral just for a quick stop to take in the views and to stop in the gift store before we headed on to our Corrib River cruise aboard the Corrib Princess. This is such a fun excursion to do, as you get to take in all the sights, and you also get an Irish coffee or a Bailey's and coffee, so it's a nice little treat for the morning. You get to go up on the top deck and take in the views. Check this out. We have ruins on the side of the riverbanks. You would learn all about the whole history of these rivers as well. Plus, you get to see some swans like this. You have the fishermen out fishing, and you also get the rowers. There is a big rowing team around here, so you saw a lot of them as we were heading back to port, as you can see right there, and then they were right in front of these beautiful ruins. So we had a great time on the Corrib River before we headed back to Galway to start our foodie tour. If you know us, we are always about the food, so we always like to include as much food as possible on our tours. But here we are entering our first restaurant and bar. So we started this off. This was a totally cool bar, many different areas, an inside bar. This was their outdoor area. We got some beers to start off. So a little sláinte for you, a little cheers. And then we had some oysters. So if you're an oyster lover, these were phenomenal. They were actually huge. They maybe didn't look that big in the pictures, but they were great. We then moved on to our next restaurant and bar, where we had a popular Western Ireland meal, a ham and cabbage with a red beer, before we continued on, and now we are entering the Latin Quarter, which is such a cool area of Galway. You have a lot of people busking, as you'll see here. I like that they were playing Nirvana. I thought that was pretty cool. But we also continued on and we had some Irish coffee. So we all made our own, which was a great little stop as well. Give us a little more energy before our final stop on the foodie tour, which only means one thing. Yep, dessert. So we had Murphy's ice cream. It's made in Dingle, Ireland, and it was a great way to end the tour. And then we stopped at the Doughboys, the most popular pizza place in all of Ireland, before, of course, I headed to listen to some more live music.
So let it out and let it in. Let you begin. You're waiting for someone.
Next next morning, it was time to depart Galway as we headed on to Castle Leslie Estate. But before we got to Castle Leslie, we made a quick stop at Brehon Brewhouse, and we got a full tour of their brewery, seeing how they make their beers and all their ingredients, and it was a great experience. Here's Melody and Jim. We're getting to try some of their ingredients right there, but otherwise you get the whole view. But this is a full production. They're even canning all of their beer here, and they have their chart, and it is truly yummy, as you can see at the end. So after we got that tour, it was time to ring for a beer, and it was time for the tastings, which was a great experience. As you can see all these pictures around, and it's all family. These were the two owners, the husband and wife, and just truly lovely people. And this was one of their stouts, another great choice. I really enjoyed myself here. But after our tastings, we went out and got to see the cows. So a fun fact about these cows is if you like Bailey's Irish Cream, well, these are the cows that help produce and make Bailey's Irish Cream through their milk. So very cool. As we were walking though, as you could see, they all started following us. They were so friendly, and it was just really cool to see. I don't know if I've ever been up this close and personal to a whole herd of cattle, but as you can see, they were checking us out. They were curious, and we really did enjoy our time here. So if you're in Ireland and could stop by Brehon Brewhouse, we definitely recommend it. You get to meet these friendly cattle. You also get to take in these gorgeous views, such friendly owners, and truly great beers. So such a great way to spend our morning as we arrive here to Castle Leslie Estate. And once you arrive at Castle Leslie Estate, the first thing you notice is how beautiful the landscaping is. These are rhododendrons. I mean, look how huge they were, and we were there at the perfect time to see them bloom. And then you get to see these gorgeous horses, since Castle Leslie Estate is one of the premier equestrian centers in all of Ireland. So if you are visiting Castle Leslie Estate, you'll definitely want to go horseback riding, but check it out. This is the castle. What an amazing experience this was. For our group, we took over Castle Leslie Estate exclusively for our group for the last 2 nights of our tour, and what an amazing decision it was. Honestly, it was more than we could have ever imagined. Look at us, you come in and you get to see this old world charm. It was such a cool experience. And then when we checked in, we got these cookies and the scones. And I mean, just looking at these scones makes me want one right now, because I probably had like 5 of them. Got tea and coffee before we came down for our cocktail reception. And then we had dinner here at this table, our whole group, and what a cool experience. The next morning was a free day for everyone, so you could choose from all different types of activities. Here you could see we went on a rowboat. I also got a hot stone massage. Their spa was phenomenal. Some people did falconry, so they got to see the falcons, the hawks, the owls flying. Other people horseback rode. People did hiking, because Castle Leslie Estate is on 1,000 acres. And as you're walking around the estate, you'll even get to see these little guys. So this was pretty funny, since you're thinking you're in an old-time castle, and then you see these modern-day electric lawnmowers going around. They have 8 of them on premise, and they keep the lawn looking fresh every day, all day, and such a beautiful landscaping, like I said. And here the next day, before we have our cocktail hour, we got to run into Miss Emer Winters, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing at Castle Leslie Estate, who truly made this experience at Castle Leslie remarkable. So thank you so much, Emer, for everything you do. And now let's do a little tour of some of the castle. This fireplace mantle actually dates back to the 1500s, and it comes from Venice, Italy, which was a truly beautiful piece inside the castle. But this is where you have breakfast, and I swear that breakfast was so good. I could go back there just for the breakfast and eat. I mean, I loved it. But as you walk through this castle, you'll just see the old world grandeur and true Irish charm. It was definitely a highlight of the whole tour, and if you stayed with us through part 1 and part 2 and you are still here watching, you've seen everything we've got to do. And For anyone who has not been on an Elite World Group tour, everything you've seen in these videos is included in our tour pricing. And one thing that you did miss, because I'm very bad at filming food at times because I typically just jump in and eat it, is that we have a lot of food included. Breakfast is always included, and then on this tour either a lunch or dinner was included, and whenever we have lunch or dinner included, we always include a drink as well. So depending on which tour, but for this one, for Ireland, it included an Irish beer, an Irish whiskey, otherwise a soda. So we always have things like that, and we always have tons of experiences, because an Elite World Group tour is more about experiencing the country, experiencing the destination, because that is the way to truly take in a destination, is by experiencing it and doing some really fun excursions. And that's always what we make sure is included. So if you ever want to join us, make sure to check out our website, elitetE.com. We have Croatia by private yacht this July 2024. We have South Africa with only a few rooms left in November 2024. And then coming up next year, we'll also have New Zealand, Greece, Brazil, and Argentina. So a lot more tours coming up in 2025 as well. So make sure to keep looking out. And if you want to truly experience destinations, make sure to sign up for an Elite World Group tour. But we're also here at Elite Travel and Events able to just make any of your travel dreams come true, including destination weddings, incentive groups, which Castle Leslie Estate could be a perfect option. As you could see here, imagine having your event in this gorgeous setting. And more than just a gorgeous setting is the employees. The employees are top-notch, super friendly, always with a smile, making sure we're happy, and I was so impressed by everyone at Castle Leslie Estate. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us this week on our Elite Escapes. We are so grateful for all of your support. Please make sure to share this video with all your travel-loving friends, like it, and also leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Is there somewhere on these videos that you really want to see? Make sure to let us know. We really would love to hear. So what we're going to do to end this episode is we are going to show you the end of our trip, where we ended up bringing in a band to play some traditional Irish music, who actually the night before they came to play for us were playing for the President of Ireland. So we truly had quite an amazing last night. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next Friday.
And the landlady's eyes open wide with delight. She said, "I have whiskey and wine's off the best." And the story you told me was only a jest, and it's no, they never, no, they never, no more. Will I play the Lady Rover? No, never, no more. I'll go home to my parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And when they've caressed me as oft times before, Well, I never will play the Wild Rover no more. I've been slowly never, no, never, no more. Will I play the Wild Rover no, never, no more. I've been slowly never, no, never, no more. Will I play the Wild Rover?